All right, we open with Mark Wahlberg doing these intense curls or whatever on an exterior wall. Some cops show up. So the movie's like, starts in medias res. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Not really.
Well, it all started 6 months ago. Pain and gain. My name is Daniel Lugo, and I believe in fitness.
I think maybe he sees himself in this. I'm just guessing in Bay, and that he sees himself in results and getting a blockbuster out of what he did. And maybe he's good at telling Mark Wahlberg what to do in this role, because he's like, I get it. You're a focused guy. The end justifies the means. You believe in fitness.
He believes in fitness, and he also believes it's this very American Protestant ideal. American Protestantism is like totally separate from any organized religion or church that would be a mediating force. And instead, it's all about how you personally feel about your relationship with God. But what that means in reality is any reptilian urge you have, you feel justified in having it because you're like, well, God's on my side. So anything I do is good.
I'm vouched for.
If I do something, it's good by definition of me doing it. And that's how he operates this whole movie. Anything I do, I'm doing for a good reason, and I'm doing it to make the world better, and God loves me for doing it.
I'm righting a wrong. I deserve more. Look at me. I've worked so hard for this one thing. I'm just evening the scales.
Yep.
I'm correcting the karma problem here.
So Ed Harris's voice comes to us and says, this is a true story. It took place in Miami, Florida back then. Unfortunately, this is a true story. And this is so, peanut butter and chocolate. It's two great tastes together. It's the Coen brothers meets Martin Scorsese, this movie. I mean, it's the story about Coen brothers characters, but told like it's a Martin Scorsese movie.
Yeah. With Ed Harris. Meow. Excuse me.
Oh, yes.
God, his face.
And I just love a movie about stupid people. And stupid people who think they're smart, and stupid criminals. And their movie Burn After Reading, the Coen brothers movie Burn After Reading, is also centered on people who work at a gym and have a dumb scheme, who also aren't aware of how stupid and wrong everything they're doing is.
They've never seen a heist movie. And Marky's, damn it, Daniel says multiple times, I watch a lot of movies as an actual credential, where I feel like if that were true, you'd be better at this. While they're at the Home Depot buying all the death tools, you split that up, you pay cash. What are you doing?
I don't want to say too much, but I know somebody very well who is that, like, who would legitimately say to you as a way to, I see a lot of movies. I've read a lot of biographies of great men, and what I have to take away is they always have a plan. And he feels so sincerely that he's like a brilliant thinker that he's just convinced himself he is. And I've known somebody like that. And I felt weird to see him on screen.
Okay. Yes, I could see him totally fucking up a heist, but thinking but I did all the steps.
Yeah.
I had 1, 2, 3 fingers. Yeah.
Well, would never even be able to say, but I did all the things. Like, would never even acknowledge that anything has been going wrong. When things go wrong, it's like, just gonna have to
roll with it.
Do something else. So then we go 6 months back. Mark Wahlberg starts narrating his dumb philosophy. If you're willing to do the work, you can have anything. That's what makes the US of A great. When it started, America was just a handful of scrawny colonies. Now it's the the most buff, pumped up country on the planet. That's pretty rad.
It's just so interesting for him to choose making your body big as the thing that shows you work hard. There's a million things he could have done to show his work. Why should a physical body that is imposing be like the ultimate sign of that guy deserves stuff? Because the majority of people who are rich don't look like that. It doesn't even track.
He's only seeing what's in front of him, and if he's in Miami in this place with all these gorgeous people and these muscle-bound guys, he assumes that's the whole world.
It's true, especially if you're going to go work at a gym, especially a prestigious one. You're just meeting people with a lot of money who care about their bodies. So you're thinking, oh, all these rich people don't even have what I have. They're coming to me looking for my wisdom. So clear, I'm already here. Transpose. I clearly need their money, and it makes sense.
Right, and it's again the person, the most amount of wealth he can conceive of is the Tony Shalhoub character, who again he has $500,000 in cash in the bank and has about $3 million in assets, and that's a lot of money. but like a lawyer has that, like a dentist has that much. It's like the Tony Soprano thing. Tony Soprano, the mob boss of New Jersey, lives next door to a dentist, lives next door to a lawyer. He's basically just upper middle class.
Right.
You're not actually at the high echelon of wealth, but that's all he can conceive of because that's the world. That's the only kind of person he would encounter.
Well, he's also being brought in by a con man, right? I mean, the victim in his own right is sort of a con in the way that he's talking about his life. He's saying how many hot pieces of ass and look at my models, I'm such a look at my muscles, I'm such a fuck. He keeps talking shit, and he's convincing Daniel that his life is amazing,
right?
Even
Tony
at
Shalhoub.
this, that's what I'm saying, right? Like he's a tricky victim because like he also is just completely confident that because he has such a heroic overcoming, first generation survivor story that anyone that did what he did would end up with the same result. When that's just not true. He got lucky too. So I mean, he's believing his own hype. And he's selling it to Daniel, who now just wants to take it. He just sold it to the wrong person.
And he's selling, and he's even selling himself because he says, when I'm out on my Go Fast boat, I like to pretend I'm a drug smuggler. Or I like to pretend that I'm the DEA chasing a drug smuggler.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing is like, if you get all the riches that you think you want from the commercials, it's not going to make you feel any better. You're still going to be miserable.
You're still missing
So
whatever was driving you.
You still have to, you have to tell this story about yourself and you have to make something up.
Or it's like, oh, I've got all this money, but I must be unhappy because I don't like my body. I'll go to the gym.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll talk to the schmo that wishes he was me. That way I feel good about what I am.
Right. Exactly. So he says, all my heroes are self-made. Rocky, Scarface, all the guys from The Godfather.
All the real people.
They all started with nothing and built their way to perfection. Now, all fictional people. I mean, Rocky was inspired by a real guy, but
also not perfection. I don't aspire to envy anyone from The Godfather.
But also, like, in The Godfather, you could probably only say that about Vito Corleone. It's mostly about his sons, who very much did not start. They literally started on third base.
Right, and then did not amount to perfection, I will remind you.
True, it did not end well for them.
No. So Rocky, what's the second one?
Scarface.
Again, dies in a fucking blaze of glory. Like, great. Anyway, yeah. Oh, Mark.
I have no sympathy for people who squander their gifts. It's sickening. It's worse than sickening. It's unpatriotic.
So you think the pile of coke in Scarface was that guy really enjoying his gifts?
So Scarface is still a movie I've never seen.
Oh, it's just a lot of coke.
And once I see it, I will have to figure out a new movie that's the big movie I haven't seen.
It's not worth seeing. It's so replicated that you won't feel like you're watching it for real. It's aggravating. I saw it way after I'd already seen it parodied, and it suffered from that in my mind.
So his new client is Tony Shalhoub as Victor Kershaw, who, again, talks about how he has this great boat and he likes to pretend he's a drug smuggler, owns the Schlotzskys. I do some stock trading real estate, own a Greyhound that races. I'm a self-made man. I've made a lot of money. There's like, we see Mark Wahlberg in his car watching Tony Shalhoub at his house and like seeing the life that he leads, where he just like yells at the gardener and at the people who are washing his car and comments on the ladies walking by his house and on their asses. And he's just like, I want all of that. And he
he seems to want it from this guy because he doesn't think this guy deserves it. He seems to think he's different from this guy in some really important way. It also matters that this guy's easy to not like, because both of the targets are very flashy people who are super tacky and they don't have manners.
I think that comes second. I think that this guy is in front of me and I will come up with reasons to justify the fact that he doesn't deserve it and instead I do. And he would do this with anybody, including if it was a great person. The scene where he goes to the lawn care store and gets on the riding lawnmower, and the guy who works at the store is like, it's a pretty nice mower. And he's like, yeah, well, if I deserve something, the universe is going to give me something or whatever. And the guy's just like, oh, okay. And walks away.
No, the guy was pissed because you make 10% back on any lawnmower you sell if you're in hardware.
Oh, okay.
And garage door openers. If it's like Sears.
But like right there, Mark Wahlberg.
It was Sears, wasn't it?
I don't remember if it was a Sears.
He mentioned Sears, but he got that guy's hopes up. And then that guy wasn't even going to buy the fucking lawnmower.
But he's like, these two guys are literally the same. They have the exact same positions where they work. But Mark Wahlberg feels so superior to him based on nothing other than just the way he feels about himself. So this gym, I mean, can you tell us about this gym, Lacey?
I mean, I did not visit a gym in the early 90s, 80. What year is this?
95.
Okay. But it has the energy of gyms I've been in. Just a lot of people way too dolled up, working their asses off to look as good as the person next to them. This is probably a sexier gym. I mean, are you asking me about the gym when he walked into it or the one what he turned it into? Because it's two different things.
Both. I mean, yeah,
See, it feels real typical. Workout life and equipment looks really the same. It just used to be white and now it's like silver and black. That's it. The outfits are different.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like I go to the gym. I know hearing about like how Gold's Gym was a big innovation in the gym space, and then Planet Fitness was another innovation because it's like, don't worry, we're not elitist here. Do whatever workout you want to do. But in my whole life, I've only gone to gyms like that, so I can't imagine like a gym where people are like really fucking serious and will judge you.
You don't think CrossGates is like that? I think there's like a part of every gym where there's that guy. You're right. You do tend to work out at smaller gyms. I feel like I've only ever gone to big ones. Like I went to Elmwood the first time I ever, and that's a really big one. So maybe it's the experience of being a woman at the gym, but I feel like there's always people trying to show off.
Okay.
And being really like,
I think that whatever like the Planet Fitness model was responding to, I've never experienced the thing they're responding to. I've only ever been in Planet Fitnesses in that kind of environment where it's like, it's just other people who are just going to go on the treadmill for 40 minutes.
I think you've also got to be a gym rat to really see it all, and just like a mall rat, right? Like you are there all the time. So a movie about the gym, you're seeing the parts of the day that are like that, especially you're not in the CrossFit area. So when they're in like a big garage thing, that's when it's really fucking, it's all about what's your plan? What do you do? How much you live? But like, that's because it's like the true believers, the ones who are really trying to get big, are in that other area where they're, shaking fucking ropes and flipping tires and doing crazy shit. I would never.
But when he starts working here, it's like it's an old person gym, just old ladies and stuff. And this gym has a pool, but he's like, what they say about Florida is it's God's waiting room. Now I like older people; they're generous, but he's got to change the clientele. He's
smart.
When he gets hired, this boss, John, who's played by Rob Corddry, very funny. He explains, I read a lot of biographies. The one thing that unites great men is the reach always exceeds their grasp. I can triple your membership in however long he says,
and he
6 months or something. And he does it. That's the thing.
With really smart ideas.
Yes. Okay. I think that's so key here is he has a plan and he executes it and it's very good.
And these things come natural to him. There's something, I'm telling you, there is a lot of Michael Bay in this guy. This guy just naturally sees what people want and he gives it to them. If you've got a goal and your goal is to have hot people here, I will give discounts to strippers. You didn't say what kind of hot people, you just want the aesthetic of hotness here. There you go. Like there's a pragmatic thing in his brain where all of this makes total sense and seems really easy to him. He just needs the space to do it. And he's right. It's just he's biting off more than he can chew, and he's going into a plan with more than just him with the bigger stuff. And it is the weaker links that ultimately fuck him over. Honestly, if you had 3 of him, he might have gotten away with it.
It's so in the voiceover, we're seeing him talk about how he made the membership, really changed this place. And we see his boss is like raking in the cash.
Yeah.
And he explains, I made sitting a fitness quarter by Christmas, perks included, because that's how it works. You give and you get back. He's almost like Hank Hill working for Mr. Strickland, who's like, I'm an assistant manager.
He doesn't mind a boss.
He crucially does not understand you are getting fucked over by your boss. That you think you live in a fair market, but
you've been given a title.
Your boss is the one you're making money for, and he hasn't adequately compensated you, and you totally misdirecting your anger toward, I deserve.
Right. Well, because he thinks he's being given the thing he deserves in terms of what the boss can offer, completely forgetting a salary increase would probably work out better, or like a bonus. He's like, yeah, he gave me the title, the prestige I want. It's all about prestige, right? It's like, I am somebody here. I walk in here and I'm at the top echelon. That is what I want. He's got it's when he walks into a different environment and finds himself at the bottom again that he gets all shitty about it. Mm-hmm. When he's just talking to other people who work there, he feels really good about himself. But when he goes to ask out a rich woman who thinks he's attractive and he thinks she's gorgeous, but she laughs at him. Like it's like we are not from the same worlds, and you think that we are because you're helping me work out. That's when he feels it.
And that's why I feel like the reason the flags keep coming in, he keeps talking about America. It's so important here because it's this fundamental American characteristic of looking at how unfair this world is that we've built and having the wrong conclusion. The actual conclusion should be me and my friends who work here need to unionize or start our own gym or whatever. We need to have solidarity with each other. And instead, never even occurs to him his boss is screwing him over.
Because to him, his boss is the one who gave him his big break, like trusted him, let him do the thing he wanted to do. And maybe it's because it's Miami, and Miami's a real melting pot of nationalities and stuff. But I mean, crucially, the hot woman he wants to talk to, she's not American. The hot stripper he pulls into the mix later, not American. The guy he's fucking over, first generation immigrant, not American. And then the people he ends up killing, they also don't seem like, apple pie. I feel like he's looking at people who don't look like the all American guy, and he's getting pissed at them and either trying to make sure they like him back or getting angry at them and going, "Fuck you, I'm an American."
In real life, they were Hungarian. They don't do
Who
that.
is?
The couple who they kill.
Okay.
They don't say they're Hungarian in the movie, but they're coded as like Italian or.
Yeah, they don't. They seem first generation. They seem new money. There's a tackiness, right?
Yeah.
There's a flaunting. There's a need to be seen as wealthy. That seems to aggravate him, or at least it's the shiny thing that distracts and can piss him off or make him happy. He's attracted and repulsed by it.
If you internalize the idea that I'll work hard and I'll get my reward, the meritocracy, once you find out, oh, that's not true, it doesn't matter because I don't own the gym. My boss owns the gym. What makes him entitled to the gym? I don't know. His parents had money, so he had money, so he could buy the gym. Then there's two different conclusions you can come from that. You can come from like, well, then I need to figure out how to get mine. Or it's like, well, I can figure out how to make the system more fair. And most people in America are like, well, I need to figure out a way to win this rigged game myself and hoard more for myself.
Right. These people are cheating. I'll cheat too and get away with it just like they did.
So his best friend at the gym is Adrian, played by Anthony Mackie, who doesn't work there. He just goes there and he's like, he tells him he's frustrated because like he feels like he should be further along in his muscle building project. And then Mark Wahlberg is like, no, we should be frustrated because we look so fucking great, but we should be making way more money. And you're broke all the time, and that's stupid. We need to get a plan to get out of being broke and to get out of being losers who can't get dates. And Adrian is just kind of like, huh, okay, I guess I agree.
You're real nice about it.
So there is this just wonderful sequence with Kim Jong as Johnny Woo, whose TV commercial is literally him on a yacht surrounded by hot women. Just one of these TV hucksters who plays a millionaire who makes his money by going to shitty hotel ballrooms and giving lectures about how you too can be like me.
He's just a more successful Daniel. Daniel also was in a ballroom when we see him during his first con.
And the wisdom he gives out is like, everybody in America is either a doer or a don'ter. A doer or a don'ter. And Mark Wahlberg is so good. He's just nodding along and writing every single thing down. A doer or a don'ter. Here's my message for you today. Don't be a don'ter. Do be a doer.
I've already got your money. You're a bunch of fucking idiots. All I gotta do is pump up a couple people and I'm getting out of here without anyone being mad at me.
Yep. And he's like, in the voiceover, he's like, this guy understands me. And he's like, we only need 3 fingers. Get a goal, get a plan, and get up off your ass.
Ooh. Also, America's perfectly calibrated for these kind of hucksters because after we get duped, we are trained to feel like shit about ourselves, not about the guy. So it's like they're sitting there and it's probably washing over them like, oh, there's no actual information here. Oh, fuck. Okay, I've done it again. Then you just want to like scurry on home and tell no one you went to this thing. Meanwhile, Johnny Woo goes on to the next city and does it to a whole bunch of more people.
Right.
And that's how it works, is with the built-in shame. In other cultures, in other countries, the shame goes the other way. Like in Russia.
In Russia, yes.
I'm just my friend told me all about the way that it works, and it sounds really harsh and sounds like drive-throughs. Drive-throughs are reversed in Russia. You they give you the food, and once they've proven they give you food, then you pay. The second window is paying.
Okay.
Just I don't know. It's just kind of backwards here, where we internalize when we get conned, not get mad at the con man.
Yeah, yes. Okay. That makes perfect sense based on the psychology we have. And if you want to explain what makes America different from Western Europe, it's there's historical reasons. But a big part of it is geography. We have this vast open country. And for about 100 years, anybody can just be like, well, I'll just go get some land out there and make my fortune.
Right. It's all the whole lore around America is the one determined man, the one that was willing to do the hard part, the brave man, the self-starter. I came from nothing. You literally have to come from nothing in an American story because that's where everyone came from. Alone.
And when the land no longer exists for you to just go claim, now you get people like Johnny Woo, Kim Jong, who's but metaphorically, go get yours. Mm-hmm. But if you live in France or whatever, and your family's lived there for 700 years, you're like, no, there's no mobility. I'm not making my fortune. So instead, let's figure out how to make it better for all of us. And that's the thing that America has never been willing to do. And I think that this movie got bad reviews when it came out, and everybody's like, it was so nasty. But I feel like its reputation has really improved since, and they're like, oh my God, it seemed to anticipate Trump. Mm-hmm. Because this is literally a Trump guy that
he's wearing a cutoff
Kim
jean
Jong
vest.
is playing.
I was saying Daniel, he looks like a Trump guy to me.
And Danny very much seems like a Trump guy of I go on pure instinct, but I'm a virtuous person, even if I don't do things that are morally good, and I deserve it. And I deserve to follow my base instincts, and I deserve to accumulate and screw over other people.
They're even in Florida.
That is not a thing that is just limited to people who vote for Trump. That's everybody. Every American is like that. If you love Trump and you think he's raising taxes on everybody but billionaires but he's doing it to make my life better. You are a rube. But if you're a Democrat who's but Robert Mueller's going to come and make everything better and come down from the mountain and Trump will be executed, or, these new Epstein files are going to make everything better. No. Nothing will ever get better. Everyone is lying to you and conning you.
And the personal story you tell yourself because I did start out poor, me, Lacey, that is part of my lore, and I'm weirdly proud of it, especially not being poor now or whatever, nothing like what I grew up with. And in fact, if I were a second generation person coming from a middle class, I would find a way to convince myself, no, I was poorer than you think I was. Or like it doesn't matter how much you achieve in America, we're all pretending to still have that same origin story.
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean. Trump saying that he came from nothing. It's like Ozempic. It doesn't count if you're cheating. You want everybody to be skinny, you want everybody to be rich, but you can't take a shot and you can't have had money to start with. It's the whole thing feels like a con then. America is just a con. You cannot win.
Because I'm sure to Trump, it does feel like he came from nothing.
Yes, he's convinced him. I'm saying that the psyche of an American person is because it is so important to have been that guy, you just tell yourself you were. And he can say, well, it's because my mom didn't love me and my dad hated me too and my brother was a drunk. So to him, he's like, so that's
or because I'm from Queens and the people in Manhattan look down on me.
It's not prestigious. So it's big feelings help make you invent a past that's not true about yourself.
When I went to prep school, they were snooty to me.
They're not going to understand my real story. They're not going to get the gravity of it. I'll just embellish. Because they don't understand unless I do.
Oh, what I'm saying is no one thinks they're embellishing. They're like, this is emotionally true. This is directionally true. This is true.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not embellishing. It literally is. But in your brain, you're going, no, I'm helping them understand.
Yeah.
I'm heightening. Because you would have had to be there.
So we finally meet The Rock.
Huh.
Paul Doyle is his character. And Adrian has decided, or Danny, Mark Wahlberg has decided he's going to rob Victor. He's going to rob Tony Shalhoub, and he brings Adrian in on his plan. And he's like, but we just need one other operative. And this is where we meet Paul Doyle. And now The Rock starts doing narration. So it becomes more Scorsese, more Goodfellas here. You'll get multiple narrators. He, went to prison, and Mark Wahlberg is like, that's okay. We all make mistakes. Doesn't mean we don't deserve a piece of the pie. But what he was doing was he was doing cocaine and like breaking and entering into a home on Christmas and got caught. And there's a freeze frame of him getting caught that is like makes him look so like scared and embarrassed. It's so good. And like right away, I think that's why how you know that this performance is going to be so special. And whenever I see a movie about cocaine, I think, oh, I want to do that. But my experience of people on cocaine is not much in real life, but very much on podcasts. I hear them when they're on cocaine.
You do?
Yeah. And what they are mostly is like checked out and annoying versus I think like the stereotypical like, oh, fuck, I'm so fucking like.
Yeah, that there is a moment on cocaine where you've got all the answers and you're very talkative, but most of the time you're thinking about, am I high enough still right now? Does my head hurt? Am I still having fun? I wonder, like you're distant. So,
what he
like, you're
is
right.
playing here is aloof and distant.
Yeah.
And scared. And paranoid, but he is not like super twitchy, like going a million miles a minute.
He gets there. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It ebbs and like that. Cocaine is a ride. And the more you do it, the more you stay on the sad part of the ride of the, where are we going? We're going to go or?
I still want to do it.
I support this.
Just like when I saw The Brutalist and Adrian Brody and his wife do heroin and have heroin sex. I was like, oh, we should do that. We should do that.
I draw the line.
It looks fun.
No.
It saves their marriage in that movie.
Well,
That's why
now I know that happens. Thanks.
So then The Rock's voiceover, know why habit rhymes with rabbit? Because your whole life disappears down a bunny hole. That's so great.
Is it?
Yes.
You really liked it.
That's such a great quote. But yeah, we see in prison, he got saved. He beat up a bunch of tough guys, including wrestler Kurt Angle. When he got out of prison, he went to Florida because he didn't have any warrants there. So he goes to like a priest's place. Like, I'm a priest and I run this place for ex-cons. And the priest is played by Larry Hankin, fake Kramer from Seinfeld, and a billion other things, who welcomes him right in without asking questions. And in his voiceover, Paul's like, it was nice when I met Danny, it was nice. I hadn't really had a friend since Ma died. So like, this is an exceptionally lonely man. And he doesn't seem to be aware of how lonely his life has been, like how specifically badly he's been treated. Doesn't realize how sad it is that like Danny wants to be your friend so he can use you.
Yeah.
And we will see what happens with the priest.
I will say it doesn't totally make sense to go to jail and get saved as a Catholic. Those aren't the people that are saving you in fucking jail.
Where does it say Catholic?
He goes to a priest after.
Oh, but
you
that
would
doesn't
go to
mean-
a pastor. No, that's very different. I feel like people, maybe it's different in church, but I feel like people who are saved later in life, they don't get saved and become Catholic. They become evangelicals.
No. He's an evangelical. He could go to a Catholic place though. I could see that happening. It's like,
Yes.
I'm a Catholic priest who welcomes in ex-cons. They don't have to belong to my religion.
Okay.
So they go to this strip club. They watch Serena, Luminita, and Danny tells her that he and The Rock are making a music video and she should be their leading lady in it. Then she has a voiceover where she explains she came from Romania where she was the runner-up in a Miss Romania pageant. And it's bullshit because the woman who won only won because she showed her vagina to the judge. And then she's like, but I knew the only place a woman like me could be appreciated was United States. So then we see her, she's getting let out of a trunk in Mexico wearing a Señor Frogs t-shirt, and she'll have to walk to the border. And she's like, it was the land of opportunity. And then I met Daniel. He had that can-do spirit. My American dream was finally coming true. So she also is like poisoned by this idea. She didn't even have to live in America to get this idea of what America could do for her.
And is she completely conned all the way through until the end? I mean, she's even on the stand saying she is a CIA operative. And like, did no one bother to tell her that was all bullshit? And was she not listening to the rest of the fucking trial?
I'm sure in real life she was not convinced of that through the trial, but in real life she did think that she was working with them for the CIA. Danny tries to get Paul to go along with his plan. And he's like, no, I can't do that. That's illegal. So we get Adrian Anthony Mackie's voiceover explaining how good Danny Lugo has been to him. He has such a big heart. He only ever has my best interests at heart. But his plan doesn't make any sense to me. He says, I'd never been a crimer. Never had a reason to be. But then we see he gets a reason to be. He's taking a lot of steroids and then made his dick stop working. And so he goes to a penis clinic, and Rebel Wilson plays the Australian nurse working here. And she's like, yeah, we always treat men who do steroids and then their balls shrink and their dicks stop working. But she's attracted to hunky black men, and he's attracted to larger white women. And I actually think it's pretty nice, their little relationship.
I think there's chemistry. Yeah, I enjoy this.
Because like she says she's like, I don't know, something so sexy about a black man who can cry. Love a little rain on the African pine. Okay. And I think in a worse Michael Bay movie, they'd play that for a more straightforward joke, but Anthony Mackie just looks at her and laughs like, oh, that's a character making a joke to me, and we shall laugh, and a sort of attraction and chemistry builds between us. It was just nice. And also, I don't know. I think these guys could have had something. And Peter Stormare plays the dick doctor. He's often in Michael Bay movies and Coen Brothers movies. But this dick medicine, these shots directly into your dick like Harvey Weinstein had to get, they're very, very expensive. So that's why he has to go along with the plan. I think this is one of the only things that annoys me about the movie, or about like the screenplay, is like, we got to have a reason everybody does anything. Like I would have liked it more if it's just like, well, my friend told me to do it, so I did it.
Well, because I think they lose track of the fact that Daniel is a con man. I mean, he's even conned himself into thinking he's having real friendships, and he's conned these friends into thinking that he's his friend. I mean, he's not. He's an opportunist. He needs to pump people up so he can get what he wants out of them. And to him, he thinks he's being a friend.
Yeah. It would never occur to him that he's not being.
No.
And they
are very similar. I'm saying the two guys that are in this, the people who, the guys who he would be the lead of a gang of, are all going to have this need to be appreciated and admired by the big, strongest person in the room. Mm-hmm.
So then the screenplay is like, okay, well, now The Rock needs a reason to join the criminal scheme. So the reason he does it is that fake Kramer, the priest, like makes a sexual pass at him, or just like,
so now he needs a place to live,
and he beats him up. But he's like, so I mean, what was your read on this? Like the priest just like kind of touches his arm and comments on how like glistening he is in the sun, and he looks so confused and then beats the shit out of him.
I read it as it looks like the movie's hinting that priest is coming on to him.
But his reaction, and later when he goes into the like sex toy factory, and he's looking at like all this all these penises and stuff.
I didn't read it like you did, but I mean, there's so much to look at and so much to follow. So I mean, I could totally buy it. Sure, repress. It would make sense why he stays to himself, and his best friend was his mom. Honestly, the best friend being his mom is probably the biggest key. That's what they're trying to do here. And to have such a huge reaction to a come on from a man, it's usually a repressed person
where
who does
it starts as confusion. I don't even understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the only way I can respond is with violence. So he has to move out of there, and he tells Mark Wahlberg, like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do your stupid plan.
Yeah, but it's because he's lost, and God was his way of like finding himself again. And then he goes and leans on this guy because he trusts in people who trust in God, and that didn't work. So he just needs to go. He just finds himself going to the next strong man in his life. He's just drifting from person to guide him. God being the biggest strong man of them all, like that's not working out for me right now. So let me go to Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. They go to this pawn shop to get a bunch of weapons. Anthony Mackie's like, we're looking for merchandise to shock, incapacitate, and imprison our fellow man. And the shopkeeper enthusiastically helps them because they bond over their shared love of Christian rock. And so Mark Wahlberg starts, he takes out his maps and stuff, and he's like, here's our plan. This Delta Force could probably do this in 53 seconds, but with our superior athletic ability, we could do it in 40. So he's like, there's another breed of like American now who's like, I never served in the military, but I really feel like a veteran. I really feel like an operator.
I could do it.
And so like I shop at like Army surplus places, and like I have the soul of a troop. So it's like inaccurate to say that I'm not a veteran, because I kind of like am, like spiritually.
Okay.
And this is where Adrian says, like, I knew Danny was making most of this shit up, but it didn't matter because we were going to be rich. So they arrive in camo gear at Tony Shalhoub's house, but he's having Shabbat dinner, and they're like, oh, fuck. And they just run away. And they regroup and devise a new plan where they're going to kidnap in the parking lot. They're going to block his car in so he can't escape, but they block the wrong car in, and then he just drives away. And they're and Mark Wahlberg's yelling at The Rock, and The Rock's like, it was an honest mistake.
Did you check the license plate? Told you to check the license plate. These kind of mistakes. I'm telling you, if there were 3 Daniels, this would have worked out.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. He's got something.
Although, but he makes the most important mistake when they get Victor, when they get Tony Shalhoub, which they get him by just Anthony Mackie steps out and tases him wearing a ninja costume
in the face.
Yeah, and they take him to this warehouse that The Rock's friend owns or something, that is a sex toy warehouse. But when he is looking at it, he's like, "There's a lot of homo stuff in here." Because he's just looking at dildos of dicks and stuff. But then he sees like one of those realistic sex dolls of a woman where it has like female anatomy, and he is like squishing it, and he's like, huh. So it's true what they say.
I think you're a little more hung up on this part of it than I am.
Clearly, I
don't think it matters.
None of this matters.
It matters when we need to get through the movie. I see what you're saying, though. I only
that implies he has never had sex with a woman. He doesn't know what female anatomy is.
Right.
He's marveling at a female sex doll. So I think that clinches it. Mark Wahlberg, whenever he talks to Tony Shalhoub, he talks in this bad Scarface accent. Tells him like, send your wife and kid back to Colombia. Don't tell anyone. And but once they take him into the warehouse, Tony Shalhoub's voiceover explains like, my parents survived concentration camps. I went through some shit in Colombia. Like, they can do anything they want to me, but I'm not fucking giving them what they want. They don't know who they're messing with. And Mark Wahlberg continues to talk to him in this Scarface monologue. They've put duct tape over Tony Shalhoub's eyes. And then he says something that makes Tony Shalhoub look at him, even though his eyes are duct taped. And he's like, you're broke, you dumb shit, because you never went to college, thereby guaranteeing you're going to spend the rest of your life obsessing over pectoral muscles. And they all freak out. They're like, how does he know about my pectoral muscles? And he's like, fucking, I can smell your cologne, your bad cologne. I knew the whole time it was you, Danny. And they're like, fuck, but he too knows, like, as soon as I said it, I'd sealed my fate, because now there's nothing they can do but kill me. But he has the same thing.
That urge to be like, you're not smarter than me. Except for I just did the stupidest thing ever to prove I'm smart.
Right, because he too has internalized the meritocracy. Yep. I went to college. I did the right stuff.
But yeah, that. But also he wants to be thought of as the smartest guy in the room. That's his mythology. He's not the biggest. He's the smartest.
Yeah.
He's the one with the most fucking know-how. So he had to tell this stupid person that he was stupid.
And he says, killing me is not going to give you job skills, Danny. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. They're like, so what are we going to do? And he's like, what do you mean what are we going to do?
I'm fucking relieved, though, because I could not stand the fucking fake accent. Like, okay, good. Just talk like Mark the rest of the time.
Yeah, because it is comical, but like not
it's
over
annoying.
The top. So you're like, is he really he's getting away with this? And right away, they're like, no, he's not getting away with by trying to sound like Scarface. No. Or like wrestler Razor Ramon.
It just sounds Hispanic to me. But
so they have him like fire his employees over the phone, tell his wife to leave the country, tell his, help his staff at the house that they're all fired. And then they need to leave Paul the Rock at the place overnight with the first shift. And he's like, but what do I do? He's crying. And Mark Wahlberg's like, he'll stop.
So they make best friends.
The Rock is reading a magazine called Christian Camping when Victor yells, I need a drink. And Paul's like, we don't do spirits here and I'm sober. And Victor's like, oh, I'm sober too. So they start bonding over their shared sobriety. And Victor's like, I think the reason I'm here is I was sent here to help you. You seem like you're on the wrong path. And The Rock seems like really taken with this. Yeah. Like, yeah, you're right. But one thing, are you a Jew? And he's like, yeah. And
is that a problem?
Can I save you? And he just puts his head on his hand. His hand on Tony Shalhoub's
Jewish
head
demon
to cast out the Jewishness. And Tony Shalhoub's like, oh, that felt great.
That felt good. Because it's just a con man working another guy who's a total mark, giving him a name. Yeah, I'm sure he felt some kind of affection for him because of Stockholm Syndrome, but like he's working over the weak link.
Yes, he gives him a name, Eldad. It means beloved of God in Hebrew. And The Rock gives him a name, Pepe. And he's like,
well, that's his name.
Well, but it's Victor Pepe Kershaw. And he's like, after Danny, Pepe was my second friend. And, later Paul is reading to him aloud from magazines. And he's like, do you want to hear about the Unabomber now? And then Victor tries to run away. And so The Rock has to punch him. And he's like, why'd you make me do that to you? No.
It's sweet. It's sweet, but I guess I'm never totally sure if the victim, I cannot remember his name ever, is totally conning Eldad.
He's trying to do whatever he can do.
I know. I guess what I'm saying is I can't ever tell if there's like a real affection both ways. I can tell that there's one way, but
I think you just said it. Like he probably does have some affection for him and feels bad for him.
It's
but
all
like,
just survival instinct.
Gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Whatever's gonna work.
Yeah.
The Serena, the stripper, she finds like Mark Wahlberg's night vision goggles. She's like, I know you. I'm not movie director. He's like, no, I'm in the CIA and I'm sent here to recruit you. Trust me, I'm in the CIA. One time in Hong Kong, I had to live for a week in a tree.
Just like CIA guys do.
And she's excited and she's turned on. She's like, oh, I can't wait to be a CIA operator. But he's like, oh, he's concerned that The Rock is developing too much sympathy for Tony Shalhoub. So he's like, I'm going to have Serena start spending time with him. Mm-hmm. So she approaches him at the strip club, but then they get interrupted by Frank Griga, this new guy played by Michael Rispoli, who we last met in While You Were Sleeping, where he plays Sandra Bullock's landlord's son.
Oh, shit.
He was Frank Griga. He was the third richest man in Golden Beach. Okay, so like 3 weeks go by and Victor still hasn't broken. And we see...
It's a fucking long time to be doing this. That's incredible.
But he's maintained his like little bastard attitude the whole time. Like they'll wake him up on the sofa and he'll just piss himself right there. He's like, you guys clean it, you pieces of shit. They steal his Greyhound from the racetrack and Anthony Mackie brings it to Rebel Wilson. He's like, look, we have a dog now.
Why? I don't understand that one, but that's fine.
But they do finally break him. They get him to sign a document. And so Mark Wahlberg goes to the bank. He's like, look, he signed off this form. So now I get all his stuff, right? And they're like, absolutely. We just need to notarize this. So he will need to be here in person to sign it. And he's like, but he's busy. He's in Europe trying to save elephants. And it's like, yeah, of course it's not that simple. You can't just have him sign a document, but he needs a notary. Well, his boss, John, at the gym is a notary. And he's like, hey, can I borrow your notary stamp? And he's like, no, that's sacred. And he's like, bro, what even is a notary? But he wins him over by saying, Mr. Kershaw will sponsor your athletic competition. So stamp.
He did not fire the employees. The employees think that Daniel is a very nice owner, more so than the other guy was. The people that work at Schlotsky's end up really liking Daniel.
Who did he fire? Because that is one of my favorite things in the movie.
He fires the workers at the house.
Okay, that's what I meant. Sorry. Because that's one of my favorite things that's lurking in the background is like the new people like Mark Wahlberg better.
And he's so fucking productive. He's going to the gym. He's making time for the neighborhood kids. He's running a Schlotsky's and he's doing the torture and scamming. Like, God, this guy is fucking busy.
Which is like that fantasy of like...
I guess the kids in the neighborhood doesn't happen till after they try to kill the first, whatever. This guy is just a doer.
But it's like, you have that fantasy of like, if I had to take over your life, I'd do it better than you. I know I would. And you probably would for about 6 months. And then you'd get, then inertia would take hold. And the reasons that you were living your life poorly come into, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
In Catch Me If You Can, when Frank Abagnale takes over as a substitute French teacher, and then you find out he's been doing it for 3 months, 3 weeks. Why don't you like that?
Because the old lady comes on the bus, and it was hard for her to get a bus, and then she doesn't even get her substitute. That's the only part of the movie I can't watch.
That's true. I forgot about that. I'm sorry to bring it up. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the scheme is now working. They get $500,000 in cash. They get the deeds to his house, but they don't know what to do about Tony Shalhoub, about Kershaw. They have to kill him now. And Mark Wahlberg turns like super evil on The Rock now of like, well, you have to, he saw you, he knows what you look like. And I don't want you going back to prison.
He saw all of us. What are you fucking talking about?
But he's always, The Rock is flustered. Mark Wahlberg's talking way too fast. It's like, we got to get him drunk. So they feed him Kahlua and then take him to a parking lot. They try to make him drive his car into a concrete barrier, but that only injures him because Anthony Mackie buckled his seatbelt. I'm like, why'd you buckle his seatbelt?
It's the law.
Yeah. They pour gas on him and on the car, light it on fire, but he just gets out of the car.
His arm is just a little bit on fire, but he's fine.
They run him over, but it doesn't work. He like gets pinned like in a curb between a curb and another curb.
So it doesn't actually kill him.
And The Rock is driving and Mark Wahlberg's like,
you killed him. You did it.
You have to back up. You have to put him out of his misery. Your friend is suffering.
Right. He does all that. And then after he needs some reassurance, like, okay, well, I fucking killed him. Right. And you did. You killed him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's being completely cruel. Like, he talks him into it and then he leaves him alone with it.
And he's like, yeah, you did it. You did it, Paul. You killed a man. We did it. He's like, no, man, you did it. It's good. You killed him.
But you can tell he feels completely abandoned and
Yes.
Betrayed.
He feels that, but would never be able to explain that he feels that. Because it's like, but they're my friends and they're good to me.
But I do want cocaine now.
But he's alive, and he wakes up with horrible injuries in the hospital.
But because of Kershaw's past, his ties to Colombia, I guess the way that he looks, his story is, the main thing is his story is so crazy. They truly just don't believe him. And he's just put in like a common room in the hospital because they don't think he can pay his bills. He can't produce any money. He can't prove that he owns anything, which is just, I can't, that is something amazing. I mean, Daniel's robbing, that theft was so thorough that he can't call his wife. He can't call a person he knows to vouch for him. I don't understand. Like, how could he be this mistrusted and truly broke? I don't totally understand, but they don't believe him, and he has to get a private detective to help him.
I guess he just doesn't have deep enough roots here that anyone can vouch for him.
That the police would take any more seriously than they take him, because they think he's been involved in some sort of organized crime, and anyone he brings in to vouch for him would just also look guilty of the organized crime.
And the movie's great at depicting like just dumb, incompetent cops, which is realistic, because they come in and they're like, says here you lived in Colombia. I hear there's a lot of drugs in Colombia. And he's like, but this happened to me in America. They're like, sure it did, Rummy.
And it's not a sympathetic victim. And so it's not going to get the attention of the media. Like, all they have to worry about are white women that go missing or get murdered. That's who they are beholden to. They're in Miami-Dade County. Like, no one gives a shit about this guy. They don't like this guy.
Well, crucially, because they don't know he has money. If they knew he had money, they'd listen to him, but he doesn't look like he has money, and there's no way of proving that he has money. So they're like, fuck you, buddy.
All they don't want is bad press, and that's what anyone can say about their job. But like, this is just difficult and weird. I don't know. I don't think I'll get in trouble for ignoring this. Okay, bye. Right, I think it's very human. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, you item to check off my list, and then they walk away like, I didn't believe a word that guy said. So he looks in the yellow pages and finds an ad for Ed Dubois, Ed Harris, who we finally meet Ed Harris, and he talks on the phone with him, and he's like, I got to tell you, I'm having trouble believing your story. And he's like, you don't believe my story? And he's like, but I'll tell you this, if three bodybuilders tried to kill me, I'd be worried they're going to come to the hospital and finish me off, which is exactly what happened. So he runs away, gets away with it. But when Mark Wahlberg and his friends get to the hospital disguised as doctors, they talk to a doctor there who's like, Tony Shalhoub just checked out. I told him not to, but I think he was scared because of the cops. The cops didn't believe him anyway. And Mark Wahlberg's like, okay, great. So to them, that's like, well, we don't have to worry about that ever again because the cops didn't believe him. And now a montage of us enjoying the spoils.
I didn't think we'd get to this part. Like, I didn't think they actually got away with it. The whole thing was a surprise to me. So that there was even enough time to go by for Anthony Mackie's character to get married. I'm like, you guys really did it. I don't care if it all gets taken away. You did it. Right.
Mark Wahlberg moves into Victor's house. Anthony Mackie starts having sex with Rebel Wilson. The Rock's doing cocaine with Serena. Never see The Rock have sex with Serena. Mark Wahlberg just drives around happily in the boat. Anthony Mackie buys a house. The Rock keeps doing cocaine. Meanwhile, Ed Harris changes his mind, pays Victor a visit. Ed Harris plays Ed. Ed pays Victor a visit. He's like, I've decided to take your case. And he's staying at just the saddest motel in the world.
Are you sure that they don't see each other at like the ground? They're in a stadium.
That's later.
Oh, okay.
That's once he flees the motel.
I thought he fled the hospital and went there. Sorry.
Danny is like, he's like ingratiating himself with the neighborhood. He meets his neighbor Brad, and he's like, my name is Tom Lawn.
Right. He's just a guy that needs a gang. He needs sycophants. He needs followers. He needs people who need him. So he pretends that there needs to be a neighborhood watch, and who better to protect you than my big beefy self? And all you kids, you need someone to look up to. So I need a gang. This guy is just a guy that needs a gang.
Yeah, he does. Because there's no practical purpose for him doing a neighborhood watch or anything. Or for him to say like, yeah, I have this really nice basketball hoop. All the kids, they can come around. I'll coach them, whatever. And they do. they do start to hang around, and the kids are around. He's like lecturing them, and then The Rock and Serena come in, and he whispers to the kids, he's like, "You guys like that Russian pussy?" That was mine. I gave it to him like nothing.
I don't even care.
And this is where The Rock's character is like so high on cocaine in that way of, you know, just being totally checked out and confused. And Mark Wahlberg confronts him. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" He's like, "Well, what?" He's like, "You look like shit." And he says, "I feel like I look great." But later he is on the 20th floor of his hotel and he's like, "I hit rock bottom. There's only one way to go." And it seems like he's about to jump off his hotel. At that sad motel that Tony Shalhoub is staying at, I just have here on screen the saddest image I think I've ever seen in a movie.
2 feet of water in a 6-foot water pool.
Of this pool, yeah, where that's green, that's turning green, and we have a shitty pool that turns green if I don't.
All pools turn green.
It turns green so fast, and nothing will make you feel like scum faster.
Okay,
than
but
seeing.
That's the sad part, not the fact that there's 2 feet of water.
And yes, and so I'm yes, you mentioned, and I thought if I said, "Well, the pool's only 2 feet," you'd yell at me for repeating you.
I would.
But nevertheless, there's a kid floating on a raft in this tiny puddle of water. It's so sad.
How's he get out? You don't know.
Well, the pool slopes up, so he just walks up because you can see it sloping down, and that's also something that makes it sad.
I understand the whole thing is not 6. Never mind.
So he meets up. So Ed Harris pays Tony Shalhoub a visit, and he's like, "Yeah, it's going to be hard to prove this case, but like they're living your life and they're enjoying it."
How's that make it hard? That seems like it makes it easy. I guess what's hard is to say that these guys, you didn't owe them this money.
Yeah.
That this isn't some sort of crime that you've committed
Something
as
that
well.
always happens to victims of cons is they take it to the police and they're like, "You gave your stuff away voluntarily."
Right.
Because
it's all a fucking show. For the cops need a good show to see that you're just the right victim for them to support. The news media needs to give a shit about your tale or else it doesn't actually count. And the biggest show of all, the jury. What's a jury going to think of this? I think they're not going to like you. Therefore, you don't get justice.
Right. And what's the line he says to him? Like, "You make a very unsympathetic victim."
No,
not unsympathetic. You're
shitty victim, or something like that.
You make a really shitty victim, Victor. But Ed Harris is like, "I know what to do. I'm going to sign up for a gym membership." But The Rock is like getting so desperate. He has the saddest bank robbery of all time where he just steals 2 bags of cash from a Brinks truck.
Just pennies.
And
just
one
coins.
bag gets shot and it's just coins. And he opens up the other and it immediately squirts green on him. And the cops are chasing him. And the cops in this movie are always like overreacting to everything. Like 13 cops descend on him and are just shooting at everything for a guy who.
So it's like here.
Well, yeah, it's for everywhere. He ran away with $10,000. Get him! Destroy way more than $10,000 worth of property, and he jumps into the river, gets his toe shot off, and then in the narration he's like, "Well, this plan was just practice. I had another plan, Frank Griga. It wouldn't be as easy as robbing a bank, but as it turned out, a bank wasn't all that easy." So he gets over to Anthony Mackie's wedding and he's like, "Guys, I want to do another job." And Anthony Mackie's like, "Oh, okay." And Mark Wahlberg's like, No, we're all done.
They went through 3-4 weeks of hell trying to get what they needed to get out of the first guy. And all of them only got $100,000 each. So yeah, you're going to go through it if you're in a penthouse freaking giant freaking, I guess, hotel room. You're just racking up tens of thousands of dollars a week just with that. Then your cocaine habit, then you're buying suits and a car for luckily it was the 90s, so it lasted, I don't know, 3 weeks. There's no timeline for this part, but it is a fucking tiny amount of money that they did all this for in the grand scheme. They're going to have to do another job. They need Vince. No, they need Dom Toretto. That's who I was trying to say.
They figure out where Tony Shalhoub's hotel is, so they go, but he has already
because they Star 69'd it.
You want to have sex with him? And the hotel clerk is like, the only guy that guy ever talked to was the guy who paid his bill, and they figure out that it's Ed Harris, and Mark Wahlberg sees a picture of him. He's like, "That's my client," and he gets really upset that
his client would do that to him.
Yes,
not the reverse.
He's so upset about that specifically.
He doesn't seem to. Yeah, like oh, he just happens to also be my client. He shouldn't be in all this.
Yeah. Ed Harris is having trouble getting the police to believe him or to like invest resources in this. And he's like, well, this is going to bite you in the ass because they're going to do something again and people are going to find out you could have done something about it. But Danny and Adrian sneak into Ed Harris's backyard. They see his wife making a cherry pie.
I love cherry pie.
And then the cops pull up and they get spooked and they're like, oh God, somebody called about a black guy being in the yard. But it's just cops giving Ed Harris a ride home. And they just jump into the ocean.
And he can't swim.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And as Mark Wahlberg is jumping into the water from the dock, he shouts, abort mission! At something they were already doing.
Yeah, you want someone to hear you yelling that as you're fleeing the property.
Yeah. And so Ed Harris, like, he says, like, Tony Shalhoub needs to stay with us. He's in trouble. So they bring him over to their house and he's like trying to eat with them, but he's injured and he drops a roll onto the ground. And there's a very sweet moment where he tries to bend over to get the roll back. Ed Harris kind of kicks it to him and he picks it up. And Ed Harris's wife is like, Ed Harris's wife, who I guess is supposed to represent just virtue, just good, just the home and hearth. And she's like, every man deserves to have dignity.
And no, every man fights for his own dignity.
And he's like tearing up and he's like, I have a boat.
But because finally someone got why he's been doing this whole time. Why not accept help? Why not take a handout? Why not, he's been force fed this damn American dream. All of this needs to be for something. Me sustaining all this torture, I was fighting for my dignity. I'm going to pick up this fucking role.
A real thing to have dignity over. And then to build on that, he's like, well, I have a boat. I own a boat.
Boats are constantly, and they are constantly represented in Miami-Dade County as the ultimate sign that you've achieved something. And people rent boats all the time in Miami just to take pictures on them. So, like, it's no coincidence that Woo's poster features a giant mega yacht and his boat is his prized possession. It's just all these, you're not supposed to just look wealthy. You're supposed to look like you have fuck you money.
But the kind of fuck you money that a middle class person can attain. I can buy a boat.
Well, I mean, the same reason in why people give shit to black people for buying a Cadillac. It's like, well, but I can buy this. I can make payments on this, and it can feel. I might not be able to buy a middle class house doing what I'm doing, but. There's status symbols we can't afford. Mm-hmm. There's indicators. I might not be investing smartly, me as this Schlotsky's businessman, or it's good enough. He probably should not have a boat that nice. There's no reason to have it except for that it signals some sort of, yeah, you know what I'm saying. There's no need to podcast. So you already know what I'm saying.
Mark Wahlberg's house, he feels really betrayed by Ed Harris. He starts beating the shit out of his barbecue pit and he says, fuck this beaver cleaver shit. But I wasn't going backwards. The 3-finger plan just needed a 4th finger. That was all. So he tells Paul, like, we're going to do it. We're going to go forward with your Frank Griga plan. So they go to Frank Griga's house and he gives this presentation and his presentation.
I don't know what he's presenting, but
his presentation is like, let me tell you, click, about the country, click, of India.
Thailand. Right.
And he's giving like a proto version of a TED talk, but it's so stupid. And Frank Griga is the first person who's like not that impressed with him.
But why even take the action? Why keep going with him?
He's like impressed with the idea and assumes there's somebody above Mark Wahlberg.
Right.
Like, this guy's an idiot, but I like him personally. I just have to meet with his board of directors. Right. But he's like, his presentation, which he delivers with so much like swag and conviction, it's stuff like, we're going after Indians, but not a woo-woo Indian. No, we're not going for that. Click. We're going for the Gandhi kind. And he's like, but those are Japanese.
This man needs the internet badly.
He's like, oh, that's phase 2.
Waited 10 years. He would have had all he needed.
But he's like enthusiastic. He's like, all right, well, when can we start? So their plan is like, they're going to do the same thing again and hold this guy and his wife hostage and have them sign documents. But
they made a big mistake of not getting rid of the wife first. And for having a likable guy as their target.
Yeah, who tells Mark Wahlberg, like, look, I just want to meet your board of directors. Honestly, I'm not comfortable with you having my money. You know a little something about business, but not as much as you think. Some of the things you say are just comical.
Right.
And the thing that makes Mark Wahlberg freak out is he says, I don't think you're a hard worker. And Mark Wahlberg
Like,
just
you couldn't have said anything worse to Mark Wahlberg.
goes nuts on him. He's like, look, I'm not saying you're a moron, but this business takes professionals. And you guys, you're a bunch of fucking morons. So Mark Wahlberg, he is and is not a hard worker. Like, yeah, he is spending a lot of energy.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it's directed in any sort of productive way.
And it never occurred to him to get a profession based on all that energy.
Right.
Or to go in a path that is not illegal. He's got something. Like, he's not stupid. He's just too narrowly focused and too confident.
And he feels so much like a hard worker and a smart person that he must be. And like sometimes I will feel like I've worked so hard today and I'll be like, but all the shit I worked really hard on was bullshit. But I still feel exhausted. And so I'm like, oh, I had a good day. I got a lot done. It's like that feeling your whole life.
Disagree.
What?
Feeling exhausted doesn't make me feel like I had a good day. I'm just saying.
I mean, like I had a productive day.
But again, unless I got a bunch of shit off my to-do list, I feel frustrated at how exhausted I am. So
he starts beating the shit out of him, and then Frank's wife hears the commotion, and he accidentally kills Frank with a dumbbell. And as he throws the dumbbell at the guy's head, he's like, "I fucking work," but he kills him. He's like, "Oh shit." And then the wife comes in and she's like, huh? And they give her horse tranquilizer. And I have this clip here of Mark Wahlberg just having a panic attack explaining what he did.
He said he was going to sign the papers, then he wouldn't sign, then he got upset, and then he said he wanted to see the board, and then I said, no, you couldn't see the board, I don't want you to see the board, why'd you call me the amateur? And then he got upset, and then he fucking said something else, and I got upset, and he fucking fell. I think he fell or I pushed him or something. You killed him!
That was so good.
That was good. That was up there with Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street. There's a moment where he talks so much until he's out of breath.
Yeah, in one take. Yeah. And he fucking fell or I pushed him. I don't know.
Yes, it was chaotic.
Now they've moved on to like, okay, well, horse tranquilizer and trick her into giving the combination to their safe because he's got to have a lot of stuff in that safe. And he thinks he's getting it from her, but she's just giving him random numbers because she's like 17, but he doesn't write down 17. He writes down a different. Anyway, he just with authority says to his friends, he's like, guys, it's now a salvage operation. And The Rock's like, what does that mean? But
I love that The Rock's toe injury hurts, so as soon as he gets a chance, he just takes off his shoe to just air out his stump.
Yeah.
That's very believable.
In all of his chaos, the Greyhound has run away. So Mark Wahlberg and The Rock go over to Frank's house to open the safe. They find the safe. They're like, fuck yeah, we did it. But the combination isn't working. And
the blame game starts again. And there's nothing that hurts the Rock's character more than whenever he gets blamed for not doing it. Like, but you didn't write it down right. I wasn't responsible. Like, it's the second time that he pulls this shit with him.
Yeah.
So wounded.
They call up Anthony Mackie and he's like, tell her to give the combination right this time. But Anthony Mackie's like, yeah, I think I fucking just killed her with another dose of horse tranquilizer. And then he has a great panic fast talk.
True now.
I mean, you told me to give her some more tranquilizer and I did, and I gave her 2 shots, and I think I gave her too much because now she's not fucking breathing, and we were dancing and having such a good time, and I was smacking her ass, and now she's fucking dead, and you're not here, bro!
No.
Did you get the code?
The Rock just keeps saying that.
He keeps saying it though, like Mark Wahlberg is on the ground screaming no, and until they get like really close. Did you get the code?
Just give me the code, I'll open it.
Yeah, no, I already ready. I have a notepad.
So they just like end up stealing a bunch of shit from the house, and The Rock for some reason gives his severed toe to the dog
for some reason, and they take the most beautiful Lamborghini I've ever seen. I don't care about cars, but that purple color was so unique, the only one that probably exists, and they take it. Fucking morons. And then they go to Home Depot and buy all the things you need to dispose of a body, all on one check, all at one time. Yeah. Keep the fucking receipt for some reason. And then when a saw doesn't work the way that they think it should, they return it with clumps of hair and blood.
But it's just like,
so what are you doing?
Why did they buy the cheapest, shittiest chainsaw?
Because they're using their own money. They're out of money.
Okay.
And it's China.
The Greyhound has returned to the dog track wearing a collar with Anthony Mackie's like phone number on it. And the owner of the dog track's like, oh shit, the dog that was stolen. So he calls the cops. Rebel Wilson comes home, finds her house destroyed and blood everywhere, and gets a voicemail from the police about the stolen Greyhound. But meanwhile, they're back at like their saw trap factory, and they're going to dismember the bodies as the Rolling Stones' Can't You Hear Me Knockin' plays, completing the Scorsese illusion. allusion.
The image of them Windexing a body and the tits, and I'm like, I've never seen this happen before. This is fucking weird. Like, that had to be a real person. I mean, that is the actress. They're doing that, so it looks so real. There's no way to fake that. Like, you're just getting sprayed.
I don't
and
think
wiped.
I've seen somebody literally getting Windexed either.
Ever.
But you're right.
It was baffling. I mean, well, it was chilling. I don't know what the word is.
But Anthony Mackie's like, maybe we should take out her breast implants.
And he was right.
And Mark Wahlberg's like, you sick fuck, you're obsessed with titties. But yeah, this is the
ends up
thing that convicts them.
And and it's the first time in a court case where the serial number on implants is what helped convict somebody.
Yep.
So I'm okay.
That's right.
All right.
The chainsaw gets stuck in her hair, and Mark Wahlberg's like, of course it's cheap, made in China electric crap. I told you to get a gas powered one. I fucking love Anthony Mackie's retort. He's like, but you said we didn't have time to stop for gas.
And I love whenever he asked the Rock's character to barbecue the hands, and very practically he goes outside to barbecue it, and because he's like, you're not supposed to do that in here. It's a lot of I don't know. They're just all just. They are very convincingly, innocently responding to this macho man that they are looking up to and letting them lead them. And they're hurt little boys.
Yes, and all
they're
because
wounded constantly.
He thinks faster than them and
Yes.
talks louder than them. And so they're like, oh, okay.
And
yeah.
they think that they are being practical with him. And then they go getting yelled at for the thing they were trying to do to help that he didn't think of.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't tell you to do it, so don't do it. It's like, but you don't tell me a lot of stuff. I'm all just trying to do it.
When The Rock is barbecuing the hands, that's when the text comes on screen saying this is still a true story. And in the voiceover, he's like, in AA, they tell you to sit with your feelings. Look under the bed. You'll see there's no monster there. But sometimes there is a monster there. And then all you can do is run away. And so he runs away and leaves a note. And now, like, everything is closing in. The police gather an enormous SWAT team to take all three guys down simultaneously. But they manage to dump the bodies in a river. But then each of them gets arrested. And also the gym owner, Rob Corddry, gets arrested. And the score here, I forgot to write down who did the score, but it has like this really haunting, like mythical quality as everything is just going to shit. Oh, Mark Wahlberg manages to escape to the Bahamas. He gets in the Go Fast boat and goes fast to the Bahamas. And then Ed Harris, for some reason, gets to go to the Bahamas too and lead a squad of Bahamian police. Like, there he is, get him! And they get him.
They get there so fast.
And they do get him. It's like 90 miles away. And when Ed Harris flies Mark Wahlberg back, he looks down at how many cops are waiting for him, and he's like,
All that for me?
all that for me? Wow.
A little Frank Abagnale Jr. in me right now.
And Ed Harris is like, they're going to want to know why you did it. He's like, why'd I do it? Because I'm a doer. So Ed Harris says, it's the longest, strangest trial in the history of Miami-Dade County. But the state was very thorough. And they bring in evidence after evidence. But they don't have physical evidence until they find the breast implants. And all the while, Mark Wahlberg is turning to Anthony Mackie. He's like, they got nothing on us. We're going to walk. And he just maintains this until the very end. Well, no, never breaks. Because The Rock, who confesses, he's given 15 years in prison. And we see him in prison so happy leading the prison choir. But they give the death sentence to Anthony Mackie, and Mark Wahlberg took the jury only 14 minutes, and Anthony Mackie makes the funniest face when he hears he's going to be put to death.
Disgusting!
And Mark Wahlberg's face is just like he cannot. This information that he is guilty and like has fucked up and is a failure, it just will never get in there. Like the antibodies won't allow it because he's still like, I just need a second chance.
I mean, I'd
get
be
prison and regroup.
Really interested in knowing what has his prison life been like. I mean, for such a character, you got to think it's abnormal in there. He might spend a lot of time alone.
If this character is actually like, if the real guy was actually like this, because I mean, this is that seems like just the way into playing a guy like this. Is my take on this is like, this is such a con artist who believes his own shit so much that he can never actually confront what he has done. And probably still to this day is like, no, I'm innocent. I didn't do any of that. I don't know. I didn't look into the real guy that much, but he's like, I'm not giving up. When my chance comes, I'm going to be ready. Life's going to give me another chance and I'm going to be ready because I believe in fitness.